in the next week, we're going to spend a lot of time with this song. You're going to learn to play it. And what that means is that we're going to break it down into all its little essential pieces. And you're going to practice it in a bunch of different ways. When people start to learn a new piece of music, especially if they're younger and less experienced, they tend to just feel like it's all physical. Like you just got to go in and practice how to play it. And that will be good. And there's a lot of value in that. I mean, eventually you have to practice the mechanics of it. But what we tend to not do is to think about the mental resistance side of things. You should get to know your piece really, really well. The Suzuki Method for violin suggests that a student should hear the music again and again and again before they ever even get to the point where they pick it up on their instrument. They just, as a little child, they listen to the recordings and eventually they say, oh, I know how this piece goes. So we'll be having you listen to this, having you sing along with it, having you sing parts with it, do analysis of it, everything so we can bring your mental knowledge of the piece and understanding of it up to par to optimize your physical training. And of course, they're not mutually exclusive. Your physical training will make it so that you remember the piece better, and and vice versa. If you analyze the music and think about it, it will help you play better. Let's just talk about what this notation is. And by the way, this is in the gray section of your packet. There's a white version of this at the very end, which is for performance, but the gray ones in the middle of the pieces are for us to work with, to mark up, to do, I guess, like working copies, analysis and things, while you keep the ones at the end clean for performance. So what we have here is one staff, and it has the melody and the words. And these notes tell you the pitches to play or to sing. This symbol here is a rest, which means to not play. And these letters above are what we call chord symbols. So they're different things. This means strum a chord, the C chord in this case, all during this time. And then when we get to hearing the music, even though we're taking a rest and a breath right here in the melodies, we switch to an F chord for half of this measure, and then we switch to a G chord, and then switch back to a C chord. So there's at least 4 different pieces of information going on here. There's the pitch and the rhythm, right? And then there's the lyrics, and finally the harmonies of the chords. And you have to keep track of all those things and make your body do all those different parts when you play and sing this. Or if somebody else is playing, then you can the chords, then you can play the melody or make up a solo or something like that. And we will tear and break these things apart. So the first thing that I want you to think about is just simply patterns. So I'm going to play through this again for you. And I want you to notice that line 1, Lavenders blue. Lavenders blue is the same as down here. Who told you so? Same chord to be played, same notes and same rhythm values to there. The words are different because they're in a different spot in the song. So if we practice one of these things, we get the other one. Okay? There's 4 places where it goes dilly-dilly. Right? Lavenders blue, dilly-dilly. Right? Then it goes lavenders green, and not dilly-dilly. So as you're making a list of how to remember this piece, remember that it has a little 2 what we call measures between these bar lines, where there's a dilly-dilly at the end of the first one of these, but not at the next one. And then every other time you get a dilly-dilly, but the other times you don't. So we're now breaking this up and categorizing it and chunking the information, okay? I think if we were going to practice any spot and get the most efficacy or miles gained out of it, it would be dilly-dilly because it happens 4 times, or lavenders green, F chord, G chord, C chord, rest, C, B, A, G. right? And then look here, same thing. When I am king, although we tack on a dilly dilly here. And then if we look here, in this here, who told you so? It's the same. Same notes, same rhythms, different words, same chords. And then again here. 'Twas mine own heart, dilly dilly. Okay? So there's going to be an assignment where we break this all up and start working on it in pieces and in a bunch of different ways. Let's be clear again, though. The notes tell you what pitches to play, and the rhythms, the way that the notes look in terms of whether they're filled in with stems or not, tells you when to play. These letters up here tell you what chords to strum at any given point in the song, and then the lyrics are the lyrics. Now, we're going to spend a lot of time practicing the notes and practicing the chords and practicing singing and also chopping it up and memorizing. In truth, we're not going to spend too much time on rhythm on this piece. You will learn to count the rhythms and you will be able to do all that, but you can super fast learn this piece by listening to recordings of it and singing along with it, and you'll just get to know it. Just like a little child doesn't need to know all of English grammar or Spanish or whatever language, Japanese they're growing up in, they just hear it a lot, they experiment with it, and they mimic. So we will do rhythm, and we will learn to count the rhythms and interpret rhythms without hearing it at a time, but to begin with, to fast track our way there, you're just going to listen to recordings of me, I guess, and have exercises where you play along and practice with them.